Hello, it's Sunday Fun Day, and this is another episode of the Casa Podcast, brought to you by the Casa Tribe. This is the podcast that we dive into various topics to bring our insightful and thought-provoking discussions, a range of issues that matter to you, from personal growth to social media. Today, we are talking about tolerance, social media tolerance. Are you tolerable? Do you tolerate people? How do you deal with people on social media? I have the usual guest. But before I introduce the guest, the lawyers wanted me to say something. Every view expressed on this podcast is a view of the guest and the host. It does not represent the Casa tribe as an entity. Now that we're done with that, let me introduce my guest. Today, I have the usual guest in the house. I have Kojo and I have Afia. Guys, it's Sunday Fun Day. How you guys doing?
I'm dying. I'm dying laughing. I didn't know that
Okay.
the tribe had lawyers. Jeez.
Yeah,
Please
we had the lawyers
let,
texted
let, let
me.
me
They
know where
wanted
they
me to
are.
say
I have
that.
a few people I need to
So
sue. I need to
so
sue if you're your boy for like
we're not we're
$500 million.
not
For
we're
what?
not gonna
Uh, you said for
we're
what?
not,
Yeah.
For causing undue stress. I am over 30, and for the last year, I have been stressed by your ageism attacks. I have to sue you in the courts for $500 million so that I
Oh
can buy a private jet, and then
guys,
me and my
guys.
over 30s can go.
This is not Sunday court, okay?
Okay.
This is
Yes,
not
boss.
Sunday. The courts don't open Sunday. And
thank you
if
for
yeah,
yeah.
I'll start with you. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, I guess.
Hmm.
Doing well, you guess? That didn't sound
Oh, but
how's your week? How's your
I,
week?
I had I had my week was great. At least I'm done with my job, not completely.
Oh, okay,
I'm not
okay,
going to be
okay.
doing long trips anymore, and I'm so excited.
Nice, nice, nice,
Yeah,
nice.
and so yeah, I had a good week,
Yeah.
guys.
Kojo,
Big man.
how was your week? How you doing, brother?
I'm great. I'm great, big man. I'm good. My week was good. A little stressful, but I guess it ended well. Got all the things I needed to get done, and
Hmm.
you know, celebrating. And so it's been good. It's been good. Aside the Golden State Warriors
Hey, what are
stressing
you
me out a
celebrating?
bit, I am good. Sorry.
What are you celebrating?
Yeah, yeah, boy. If you can ask questions,
We want to know.
uh, celebrating a few things, turning a few things in, getting a few, you know,
You
uh,
not say anything.
if yeah, boy. We'll save some of them for next week.
Okay,
Uh,
okay.
We'll save some for next week.
Crazy,
But
how was
I
your week?
but someone
oh,
could.
thanks for asking.
Mhm,
Thanks
there
for
we go.
asking. Mine was great. It was
Mm,
as usual. Work did a few things. Go to the gym.
mm.
Try to survive. Trying to
Oh,
eat
you
right.
still go to the
Try to.
gym?
I try. As 30 plus folks, we have to exercise.
We got it. We got it.
Because
Honestly, I think
so
it's not too late for 30 plus people, right?
so-
You guys,
It's not too late for what?
wait.
It's not too
You
late for what?
you're gonna tolerate us now?
I've
She's
been
very
tolerating.
intolerant. She's
I
not going to
am not
tolerate us.
tolerating.
You're gonna
Put in the
uh,
work, and all that.
but if you're watching this or if you listen this on Spotify, this is a Casa Tribe. It's Sunday Fun Day. We're talking about social media tolerance. We're gonna dive into the topic social media tolerance. We're gonna see whether you tolerate people or you don't. How do you do it? Is it something that you practice? How do you deal with people you don't agree with your views? Right.
Mhm.
But before we start, if you haven't subscribed to the Casa Podcast, please hit the like and subscribe button on the if you're watching this on your YouTube channel. Subscribe to it on Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. I'm gonna start with it here. My first question. Let's go. Ladies first, right? We're
Yeah,
gonna
I
go.
guess.
Okay, what does when we say social media tolerance, right? In
Mhm.
a, in the context of social media, what is tolerance? What does it mean to you?
I mean, so far what we know is accommodating people and allowing
Mm,
people to have their own views of, any social problem or anything. So
Mhm.
yeah, to me, in basic terms, I think accommodating people to have different views from what you hold,
Mhm.
and being able to engage. Yeah, I guess engage. I think when it gets to the engage, yes,
Having an open-minded, being
it
open-minded
gets it
and to engage
gets it
people.
gets more than, yeah, tolerating. It gets, then I
Mhm.
I would be like, okay, you are very patient, because tolerating to me is just, okay, you can actually have your idea, and then
Mhm.
I don't want to deal with you. Let me just go. But
But if we
you know,
if we are avoiding people, if you don't want to deal with them, you're not being tolerant, right?
but that's no, tolerance ends when you allow people to have their views. That is
Mhm.
where it ends for me. You can
Oh,
have
oh,
it.
okay, okay. The you, okay, your view.
Yeah, have your
Okay.
views, express it how you want.
Mhm.
So far as it doesn't really affect me, and we don't have to engage. Sometimes I could
Mhm.
engage, it depends on the topic. Sometimes too, it's not healthy for my mental health, so I'll just let it pass.
Well, how do you let it pass?
I take myself out of the situation, and then I don't have
By
to.
logging out?
No, I just scroll past it. If it's a space, I just leave the space.
Mm.
If I have to
Okay.
block you, I'll block you. If I
Oh,
have to
nobody's
mute you,
above blogging.
yeah,
Mm,
if I have to mute you, I'll mute you.
Okay.
I'll just not engage you
Okay.
anymore. Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. Prof.
I didn't know if Yaibo was a master mason collecting the blocks. When you're done building the house, let us know.
I'll let you guys know.
um,
uh,
what,
what does it mean
dude?
to you?
I wish I
Tolerance,
knew what it
social
meant.
media.
I wish I knew what it meant, at least in
Mm.
practice. In my social media life, I
Yeah,
don't
that's
think
what
I
I want to
practice a
know.
lot of tolerance, but to me, it would be like very similar to what Ifya was said, allowing people to have their different opinions, right? The diversity in
Mhm.
opinions, and sort of sitting with it, right?
Hmm.
And yes, sometimes engaging, sometimes just scrolling past. But for me, for the most part, just letting it exist in the space, right? In the social media, um, platform or on the platform, however it is, right? Not going
Hmm.
about tearing things down and burning things down to the floor because you don't agree, right? You
Hmm.
may have different opinions, people would have different opinions. Tolerance would require, as all, knowing that these things exist and just being okay with it. Living and let live. I guess that would be my
Hmm.
classic demonstration of tolerance in social media circles.
Okay, okay. And so I don't know how he does it, but he's on the show and he's putting in comment. It's like
It's called
he's
voodoo.
putting
It's called
he's doing
voodoo.
voodoo. Yeah, he's Ghana voodoo. He's multitasking. That's a great skill to
Wow.
have actually. Because just said if Fia is not tolerant. I don't know where that's coming from. Maybe from where Fia said, I don't know. But before Kojo said that, we had Ghana Associate said he was patiently waiting. What was he patiently waiting? Waiting for
For
the
the show
show?
to start.
Oh,
Yeah.
we're
For
here.
the
We're
show
here.
to
Ghana
start.
Associate. Ghana Associate, if you're still here, tell us what you think being tolerant on social media is. Kojo said, Ghana Associate, I see you. Yep, we see you too. Delali is looking. Is Delali? I think Delali is looking at Ifia, right? Just Delali, just say it with your chest, like Ifia, you look good today. Just say it. That's all, and we can. I don't.
Your
Michael is
bestie is
walking.
here. Your
Yeah,
bestie
Michael.
is
I
here.
know. I know where Michael's walking to. He's walking because he can't find parking, so
Oh
he's
my
walking to
god.
go. He's he's just he gave up and started walking. That's great exercise, actually. Ghana Associates here. Ghana Associate, tell us what you mean. What when we say uh, tolerance in the context of social media, what is it? We want to know. Um, no, I mean, yeah, I mean, I walk slow sometimes. Yeah, Michael, you're right. I do walk slow sometimes. And yeah, I don't know. But guys, let's move on to my second question. Right, let's move on to my second question.
Mhm.
When how do you handle people, like how do you when you in an encounter on social media,
Mhm.
perfect example. I think if I give this example about whether the timeline, Twitter Space, because I think a lot of the things on Twitter, IG is just photo up, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, how do
IG is
you?
just IG
Yeah,
is just for you to send me random reels and
yeah,
add
yeah,
ridiculous comments.
yeah,
Ridiculous
yeah,
comments.
yeah.
The
That's what
comments, yeah.
that's that's what it is. But
The comments for
when
me.
guys, and I'm gonna start with Kojo this time around.
Hmm.
You're in a space, right?
Mhm.
Somebody says something wild stuff, right? Out of blue, doesn't align with your values, your whatever you were raised with, whatever you picked up later. It doesn't, right? How do you deal with it?
Hmm. Quisi.
When your views are different from yours, how do you deal with
Quisi,
it?
now you're taking me back. So for a long time I've been doing this wrong. For a long time, I would
Mm,
jump in and try to engage, ask questions, try to understand where
mm,
they're coming from. And
mm,
over time I realized it doesn't help me, at least for my sanity, for my mental health. Like if I was mentioning, it doesn't help. I normally don't even go there to, and so I have had so many discussions with people where at the end of the day I ask them, they keep telling me, oh, whatever, we don't agree with your position. And I'm like, what exactly is my position? Because
mm,
I normally wouldn't present a position. They would make a claim or they'll make a statement, and I'm asking questions. And I realized, one, it takes people off, and two, it takes me off. Because over time, you realize people really didn't, they just said it
mhm,
for saying it. And normally you run into that thing where it's like, listen, we're just chilling. Can we just talk, right? Can we just shoot the breeze? And so
mhm,
you realize it's either you're taking things too far, you're taking
Personal.
things too deeply, like you're taking them way, you think they've put a lot of thought in it when they haven't. And so over time, I've realized, listen, the best thing for me to do is to shut up and sit there and mind my
mhm,
own business. Because
mm,
listen, the ideas that float around on then, it's not just from other people, even myself. Sometimes some of the ideas I've expressed, I'm like, did you think about that deeply? And so yeah, normally initially I used to engage, but these days I'm learning, and I'm not there
mm,
yet. I'm by no means near where I want to be in terms
uh-huh,
of just listening to something and letting it go. I would normally be the guy with, I have a question. So
mhm.
how did you come to this conclusion?
Conclusion.
It never goes well for me. It never
How do
goes
you
well for me.
how do you how did you make this wild stuff up? Like how did you eh,
It's wild out there, man.
yeah.
It's wild out
Okay.
there.
So now because you're sitting back and you just
Yeah,
mind your
yeah.
business.
If you say
He's
That's the
one
not.
plus,
way
if you say
He's
that's
one
it.
not.
plus one is 15, I'm like,
That's
what's
the way
good?
you so that's the way you tolerate,
I'm
right?
trying. I'm not there yet.
That's how you
I'm
handle it
working.
now, right?
I'm
You're
trying. I'm
working. You're on
trying.
that path. You're on that path.
He let
I
me tell
am.
you what
Okay.
he means
If
by
yeah,
he's trying. Wait,
what do you
Chrissy,
mean
let
he's
me
trying?
tell you about what he means by he's trying.
Hmm.
He has the idea, okay, that
Hmm.
when someone says something he doesn't agree with, he's gonna
Yeah.
pass. But he doesn't pass. He really does not pass.
Well,
He
he
can
said he's
Trying.
WIP, right?
Work in
His
progress.
yeah,
Thank
he said
you.
he's VIP,
you
right?
know, okay.
Okay.
We'll
Now
get
now that
there.
I have you, now that I have you, well, yeah, you need to answer my question now. How do you handle situations where somebody's view is super wild, or maybe yours is wild, right? But his is
Yeah.
not. Opposite views. Somebody's view is opposite from
Mhm.
you. How do you handle it?
I take myself out of the situation. Usually that's what I do. I
But,
usually
but
don't have, yeah,
you
for
leave the
me, I'm not
space.
a work in progress. No.
Mhm.
I
Mm,
don't,
you're already there.
She's the finished product.
You're a
no.
finished product.
I'm a finished product. But the thing
Uh-huh.
is, I don't have
Mm,
it. I have
mm.
tried and I failed, so
So
I'm
you've
not
given up.
trying
You're at that
anymore.
point where you've given up.
I've given up.
Okay.
I don't
Hmm.
have patience for anybody. I don't have nothing for anybody.
Mm,
Mm.
So for me, if I get to a place where the conversation is getting, beyond me,
Worse.
I just step out and allow it to go. I
Hmm.
don't try to, engage.
mm.
No, no.
By not engaging, don't you think we might be at fault here when we allow people to spill like spill whatever a lot of blood around and we don't say anything, right? If we're on a space, right, and I'm
Mm,
telling you that 2 plus 2 is 10,
Mhm,
Mhm.
right? And we know that 2 plus 2 is 4. If you
Mhm.
allow me to keep spreading that false narrative, false info,
Yeah. Mhm.
wouldn't you be a little bit at what point do we hold you responsible as a society that you allow me to say all this
Hmm.
inaccurate stuff? Do
Tracy,
you do you think? Yeah.
do you know something?
No,
Uh,
tell me.
funny enough, I realized something. I had to go
Uh-huh.
back to elementary school math.
Hmm.
If someone genuinely believes 2 plus 2 is 10,
Hmm.
they're not entirely wrong.
Mm.
In base 4, they're right. So now what I do is I try to change, the if you said something so out there and it doesn't jive with the world I see, I try to find a world in which your thing could work, sure, and let you live. Because see,
Hmm.
you might think you're doing the world a favor, right? But you
Hmm.
really wouldn't be. You would just be trying to do yourself a
Hmm.
favor to try and make what people are saying fit into your mind and, try and understand. That is
Hmm.
That's
all you're
true.
doing. Because it's not
Okay.
like
That's
the two
true.
of you can really change reality.
Yeah.
And so
No.
normally when someone says things that are so out there, hey, 1 plus 1 is 65,
Hmm.
and you try to bring them to that page, what you're doing at best, at the end of that conversation, you might have created some form of an intersubjective understanding of 1 plus 1, where you and
Hmm.
that person are on the same page. That's all you're doing. You're not changing the world. You're not changing the rules of the world. It's not like
Hmm.
world peace is going to go kapoosh because this person has this idea.
Okay. I'm
So
gonna.
now I'm like, you know, if I can understand you or I
Yeah.
can sort of give you a reason to believe that,
Uh
sure,
huh.
keep it.
All right, hold that thought, both of you, because I have a follow up question for that. Hold that thought, right? Before that, Ghana Social says, "I believe tolerance is when you have when you are able to listen to a divergent view and even insults and being able to give your opinion without your emotions and so. And actually,
This
that
is my issue.
see, I recommend Ghana Social for that. That's one of the things I like about him, right? That he can say something wild, right? And then Kofi Ama will come at him, will insult him, whatever, right? But he usually give people a chance to insult him. Then he just makes his point. So that I will say. Rashid say Kojo in base 4, we did not say 10. It's one
One
zero.
Yep.
zero.
Yep. That's true.
Okay. And then you agree with that. All right. So my next question for you guys, I'm gonna piggyback off what you guys said. What is the impact, right, of being intolerant on social media? Like, what is it like? Is it? How do you address that issue?
Chrissy, I think we should talk about the impact of tolerating people because Ghana Social mentioned his definition and was like even being able to take insults. That is wrong.
Hmm.
Tolerating people
Tell us why that's
to
wrong.
some extent
Mm-hmm.
affects certain people's mental health.
Mm.
Like you people think, oh, you should be able to take insults, allow people to say what they want to say, when in reality, allowing people to say anything to
Mhm.
me is affecting me.
But that's my question is the other side, right? When you ignore, right?
Hmm.
Or when you ignore, you're not tolerating it. Like, all right, hear me, right? When you're not
Mm-hmm.
doing that, okay, hear me, and you just log off, leave the space,
Mm-hmm.
block them, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is the impact of that?
Hmm.
Well, usually they are going to go about with the false narrative they have. Like maybe to me, when I think the narrative they have is false, and instead of me engaging them
Mhm.
or having the conversation, I'll be like, I'm just gonna let you be and then go. The downside to that is they tend to go on with it and even come out with wilder narrative like
Mhm.
beyond, like you really think, how did your brain process this conclusion? Like you'd be like, how did we get here? You don't even understand. So that is the downside for me. You end up with people with different views.
Hmm.
Even
Mhm.
sometimes they don't even know how they got to the conclusion. They don't know, especially
But
when you try to engage them. That for me is just the downside to it. And then sometimes too, in extreme cases, you tend to have people be violent. If you are not
Mm.
intolerant, if you are being intolerant, people get violent because then it looks like anger sets in or upset sets in, and then
See,
it
when
gets.
you say violent, like like verbal
It could be
abusive,
No,
like
verbal,
sometimes
it
even
could be
physical.
physical. Yeah, it could be verbal, it
on
could be
so. I mean, you
physical.
don't on how does that on social media?
Bongo ideas. Oh, I
Hey.
didn't want to mention his name, but
No,
Yeah.
there's
yeah,
this.
but it happens,
It
right?
happens that
Social
people
Oh,
will be
media
me.
like
sort of it spills
threats,
over
and then
into
when
the
they
Oh,
real.
when
meet you out,
people shift
yeah, those
from
shifts from
social
the
media
social
to like,
media to
Yep.
oh,
when they meet you in person,
Mm-hmm.
they
oh,
have
Mm-hmm.
this hatred for you because of the things you've been
because you
saying.
didn't
Mm.
tolerate what they said.
Yeah, aside not even tolerating it,
Mhm.
even if they allowed you to express your views, the fact that you hold that
Those
opposite
views.
those views is just a problem, and so they tend to have issues with you.
Mm.
Yeah.
Should before I come to Kojo, let me ask if you a question that
Mhm.
uh somebody just made a comment. Should we build tough skin on
Yeah,
social?
surely, definitely. I'm all
Or
for tough skin.
you all for that?
Yeah,
But
you don't we building the tough skin is not for you to stab us or to try to
I
get
like that.
us.
I like that.
We
I
are
like that.
building it for when we need it, not the
Okay.
fact that we have the tough skin so you want to say any nonsense.
Yep,
No.
yep, 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 yep.
Hmm.
I agree. I agree. Kojo, hit me.
Crazy.
Come on, me.
I think over time, my position on this is evolved or changed. Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's changing for the better. I don't
Hmm.
know if it's appealing to my better side or my west side, but
Hmm.
we saw. I would want us to take a journey like from like 2015, right?
Yeah.
From say late 2015, right, all the way till like
Mhm.
2021. We saw how families and family dinners fractured just because people had opinions, right? Your uncle will come
Hmm.
in with his
Hmm.
maga cup and then it starts a conversation.
Hmm.
For a long time, families and people thought, okay, these are people I care about. These are my friends. These are my siblings. These are my parents. Let's engage in conversation around some of these things people truly believe.
Hmm.
Because people felt if someone had a bad opinion or an erroneous opinion or someone had alternative facts, it would lead to
Mhm.
something so grave that we have to address it. And so we can hold family dinner, pause any conversation we have. We don't have to talk about anything. We have to address your political views. We have to address
Mm.
these social views and opinions you have. And family dinners ended up with, the mac and cheese flying and the turkey being thrown in people's faces,
Mhm.
people uninvited people for Thanksgiving and all that.
Hmm.
What I learned from that is there was this growing need to address opinions, right or wrong, however whatever we were not uncomfortable with.
Mhm.
There was this
Yeah.
encouragement, just speak out, just
Hmm.
speak out, just speak out, that
Mm.
we felt as though it was the only way to deal with it. And I realized it didn't solve any problem. Your uncle didn't throw his MAGA cup away and said, oh, just because of something you said over dinner, my
Hmm.
entire political views have changed. No, they dug in. And over time, camps started forming where people are like, I'm not going to watch this TV station. I'm not going to go here. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to surround myself with people who only believe the things I believe. And we're all
Mhm.
going to be like, and so we built these echo chambers and
Hmm.
we became more polarized. Something
Mm.
that could have been, yeah, you can vote NPP, NDC, you can vote red, blue, whatever. But
Hmm.
there's so much that brings us together than the
Yeah.
things that set us apart. It
Hmm.
looks like just because we wanted to address things, like you were asking, what happens if we don't address it? Well, for a long time in human history, we've
Hmm.
had different opinions, but most of the time, there's so much we share in common that these different opinions did not become the highlight of our conversation. But
Mhm.
these days, it's like we forget all the things we have in common and we want
Yeah.
to dwell on the things we disagree on. And so now conversations on social media, in person, and all have just um, what? They've just withdrawn them only to the center of only to the things we don't agree on,
Yeah.
right? And so
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like in a conversation on tolerance, what I and leaving things to be is nothing is going to happen if somebody has one bad opinion. If I have a friend who has 10 right opinions and one bad opinion, do I really want to make that the center of conversation for a month? No.
No,
Kojo, but
no.
it depends on
How bad it
the
is.
opinion, yeah, the weight of the opinion you have, right?
I
Because
actually have a.
I could overlook someone saying, "Oh, the perfect temperature for a room is
Mhm.
18 degrees
Why,
Celsius." And
why are you like this?
I'm just
Why?
saying something.
Why?
I could
Mhm.
overlook that,
Mhm.
right? I could overlook um fufu is the most horrible food in the world.
Because she came for you.
I could overlook that one too. But then if you tell me, there are certain things that I hold when it comes to, let's say, treating people with respect or how you deal with things, and you see, you know, insulting people to be very normal. I have a problem. I can't
Mm.
deal with you.
Okay.
Hmm.
I have, I've, the more you guys answer my question, the more I have questions out of what you guys say, right? But
Mhm.
before we continue, if you just tune in, this is the Casa podcast brought to you by the Casa Tribe. Today we are talking, we're diving into the topic social media tolerance. What is it? Do you have it? Yes, no. If you don't, what is it? How do we navigate
Hmm.
that? Um, if you haven't subscribed to the Casa podcast, please kindly do so. We are glad you're here. And if this is your first time, we're happy you're here. Welcome to the
Yep.
Casa tribe. Hit the like and subscribe button. But before we go, if you had said something and the lawyers wanted me to slide in another note. If you just join us, views expressed today are views of a guest and a host. They do not represent the Casa podcast or the Casa tribe as an entity.
Mm.
Back to the conversation, guys. Before
Mhm.
I think Rashid has something for us. So let's Rashid said, I disagree with Ghana social you. You cannot keep being insulting. You cannot keep being insulting people and then expect people to tolerate you. Okay. In your submission, be tolerant and and not spew insults in the name of tolerance. Okay. Rashid came back again. Kojo, good or bad? It
Also
it's
based on
also based on
perspective.
perspective.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
true. That's
okay.
true.
Um this is cropping up Poku.
Hmm.
Prime
Interesting.
is here.
No, that's someone else.
Oh, that's someone else.
Yep,
Oh,
that's my younger
tolerance.
brother.
Oh, okay. Tolerance is accepting that everyone has a different opinion, normally due to experience, and not dismissing it outright. I
Mm,
agree. I agree.
mm,
I agree with that.
mm, mm. Me too.
Okay.
DK, I see
So
you.
we're back. My next question to you guys,
Mhm.
and I think I'll start with Ify this time around, right? Because the
When
last one
does
I
the
started with
interview end? It's like when do we get the job? When do we know when we get the job? It's like you're interviewing us for a job.
yeah. I
Social
haven't.
media managers.
I'm still taking writing notes down and seeing if you do qualify.
I will
If you
yield
do
the
qualify
position to
for this,
Obiayewa.
if guys,
Mm-hmm.
empathy,
Mm-hmm.
understanding. I put those two words together, right? I feel like I'm
Hmm.
beginning to sound like a rapper now. Empathy,
Mm-hmm.
understanding.
Mm-hmm.
I put them together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
On social media, what are some of the strategies that you guys uh can use to promote empathy and understanding? Because we have to at some point, right? We got to understand people, right? So do we talk to them and maybe understand their background? Like when somebody says something wild, right? Do we ask, okay, why do you see, instead of just jumping on them or remove them from the space and all blah blah blah, do we just ask them, hey, where is this coming from again? Like, where are
Hmm.
you getting all these ideas, right? How do you? So,
Hmm.
what are some of the strategies that you guys use to promote empathy and understanding?
Hmm. So empathy is one of those tricky ones for me, at least on social media. And in terms of in terms of having conversations around things you do not agree on, like
Mhm.
Rashid was saying, when we have dissimilar opinions, right? Empathy
Mhm.
often comes very close to patronizing, right? Empathy is
Mm.
the understanding of
Mm.
someone's position, understanding
Mhm.
how someone feels about something, understanding someone's feelings, right?
Mhm.
And for example, let me use an example. Say you have a college degree in math, right? And
Mhm.
you maybe specialized in calculus, right?
Mhm.
You see someone elementary calculus, right? Like in high
Mhm.
school, struggling with it, and you can be like, oh man, I understand. You get there. That you understanding what they're going through. It's a way of showing empathy
Mhm.
in a conversation.
Mhm.
Taking that position can get you in trouble.
Mm.
Oh, that's what you think. Okay, grow up a bit and you'd see. Oh, people will come for you. Like
Yeah,
if hey,
you'd
what?
be sounding condescending at the point.
Exactly,
Mm.
exactly.
No, Kojo,
It
you are missing
really,
the point.
no, I'm just saying it is tricky. I don't want to
I
encourage
like
people
it.
to go into conversations, go in there to genuinely understand,
Uh-huh.
right? Don't understand their feelings and don't understand why they're thinking that way. Understand what they are saying, right? And so for me, I want us to tolerance should and we should extend grace and we should
Mhm.
graciously try to understand. If you try to feel or understand how people feel, like any topic, any social topic, saying, I don't want to bring any controversial topic, right? But
Don't.
then there's so many controversial topics, and people have
Mhm.
very strong emotions attached to the things
Mhm.
they're saying.
Yeah. Politics.
Trying to tell them, oh man, I understand. I can, I'm pathetic to your position. Like,
Mhm.
I really know what, but I don't agree, would come off very patronizing. Let's talk about, I don't know. What one of the, like the Supreme Court and abortion rights, right?
Mhm.
If you're speaking to someone on another side or the other side of whatever your position, I understand these emotions you people are putting. I really sympathize with your position, but it comes across a bit snobbish, right? And so empathy is a great thing if you're going to be smart and especially not vocalize it. Because in
Mm.
certain ways, you might be genuinely trying to express empathy, but it would come across as condescension. Like, who do you think you are? You think you're better than me? That kind of thing. So it's
Yeah.
tricky. It's a very fine line to walk. And so genuinely trying to understand the position is your best bet. Else let it
Mm.
go. Be like
But
it,
that would
yeah.
be a
Okay.
problem for
Run
some of
away.
us.
Okay.
No, if
If
you
yeah.
say that genuinely try to understand the position the person is on, for for somebody like me, that is hard. That is very, very hard
What is
because
it's
Mhm.
hard for you to understand where you're coming
it's
from.
hard for me to go through somebody's thought process, especially after you've asked a couple of questions, and
Mhm.
then you realize the person doesn't really understand what they are even saying. And so walking them
Do
through
you
the
teach
process,
them?
no, even sometimes, right? It's like if you want to, so the moment you start asking the person, how did you get to this conclusion, right?
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
then you keep asking, usually what happens is some people get defensive, and
Mm.
it's completely understandable, right?
Mhm.
When I have a view and then somebody, a view that has been challenged a couple of times, the moment someone else challenges, I'm like, okay, you're also coming for me. Sometimes you just want to understand, it's not like you're coming for the person, but
Mhm.
then it will be taken as you're coming for me, and so the person will be on the defensive side, right?
Mm.
And
Mm.
so for me, I try not to have to, I don't like engaging people when they are being too defensive. It doesn't help with the conversation. And so it makes me trying to understand somebody else very difficult, very, very difficult. And also, I'm not particularly the person with great patience. Yeah, I'm also getting there. Like as for that
Mm.
one,
Oh, now
genuinely,
you're a work in progress.
No,
that one,
you,
yes, I'm a work in
did
progress
you
for
say great?
patience. Yeah.
Fairly average, girl. You've not gotten to you want great.
Wow.
Young
Yeah.
woman. Yeah, I'm not with great
Oh.
patience. No, 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 no. You're not
Wow.
even fairly average.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Substandard. You're like 4-star poor at the moment.
If
Oh my
if yeah,
god.
you just not gonna sit and let him do that, right?
You
Yeah,
see,
I'm gonna
you see
ignore
him
him.
stuck in the flame. You see him
Right.
stuck in the
Right.
flame.
You're not just
I'm
gonna
And
let
then
him
sort of
sit.
I'm going to
Right.
tolerance.
act like he didn't
Right.
say that,
Right.
and then
Are you gonna
we go
tolerate
past
that?
it.
Are you gonna tolerate all
I'm
that?
gonna tolerate that. I'm going to
Good,
because
good,
I'll
good,
get
good,
him because
good.
I'll
You
really
practice
get
what
You
you
see,
him
you
preach.
see, you see, you see what
because
she
I'll get
said, because
him.
I'll get him.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
This is
I'll
this
yeah,
is
get
this
him.
is
you
the patience. Okay, oh, let's go.
But I'm
practice.
saying that when it comes to patience, trying to understand people,
Mhm,
right? I'm looking. I mean, I know people try. I won't lie to you. It's hard. Saying we should give empathy, that I can give to people. Empathy is something that comes, and I feel like that too is also tricky because people express it in different forms,
mhm.
right?
It's the expression. It's
Yes,
the
someone
Okay.
expression.
might
That's
have
the key.
empathy, right? There was one time I was having a conversation, and I was like, the the conclusion that I came to it. I think it was with Kojo, right? When I was talking about the child, the deaf, dumb child, and the
Oh,
parent that
yeah,
on
yeah,
social
yeah, yeah,
media, that
Mhm.
yeah,
conversation.
yeah, yeah.
And then Kojo was like, no, how do you come from here? You care about the mom, you care about the child, and you think, I'm not going to say my position,
The
right?
Uh-huh.
conclusion did not follow from.
Guys.
But honestly, for me, I felt like this is the only way I can express it. Honestly,
Mhm,
this is the best way. And he's like, no, you don't express this way. If you care about this person, it should go in this direction, right?
mm,
Because empathy, everyone expresses it differently. So if you're using that as a mechanism to tolerate people online,
mhm.
I think it will be a problem. Because okay, and then also tolerance also is not from our point of view; it's from the other person's
Recipient's
point
point
of
of view.
view.
Yep.
So the
Mhm.
person would feel like, oh, okay, you can have the conversation, right? So if
So
my
you tolerated them, but to them you didn't.
yeah, you
Okay.
Yes.
were rude or you
Mhm.
And
were something else.
Yeah.
one thing I want to tack on is none of these things should be actually verbalized. Like, you can't vocalize it. You can't tell someone, "Oh, you, I'm tolerating you." "Oh, you, I'm being empathetic." No, you can't. You can't say
You
it.
show it.
You
It's an
should show it
action,
and
right?
then hope that the person perceives it, right?
Mm.
And like that's where AY was going. It's
No,
all
no, I
about the
also have a problem with that too.
it's
Because
it's all about the
sometimes
perception. Because if you're going
no,
to tell people,
because
you let me tolerate
sometimes
you for
right.
5 minutes, like,
Because
it won't
sometimes,
work.
right, some people don't know the work you put in. Like there are some people that I know
Wait. Okay.
their
What
like
work? When
Kwesi
you say
is
work?
very poor in
Oh my
tolerating people,
god.
right? So
Oh,
when I
you come
see
in. You what? How did I get dragged into this again?
a
Guys.
minute, you see how you got dragged into
Oh
this.
my
So
god.
when I see Kwesi,
Hmm.
when I see Kwesi having engaging in conversation with someone on social media, I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, this is impressive. I didn't
Mhm.
know you could get here,
Oh wow.
And so the
Oh.
person that Kwesi is, having the conversation with thinks Kwesi is being impatient. I'm like, dude, you should be
This
told
the guys.
under normal
Disclaimer.
circumstance, Kwesi will not
Uh,
engage you. That's the
disclaimer.
truth.
I've been diagnosed with personality disorder. So depend on the conversation. I could be whatever, right? I could be cold, lukewarm, hot, blue, green, black. So I'm actually like I'm on medication. I have been diagnosed with personality disorder. So
What
but but
medication are you on?
but I
Whiskey?
don't. No. I can't tell you that. That's sensitive HIPAA violation. I can't. HIPAA, OSHA, whatever. It's all those shy hip
Oh,
people. It's But
hmm.
you guys were talking about expression, right?
Mhm.
How can we balance the freedom of expression with the need to create like a respectable and inclusive Twitter space, online community, whatever? Like how can we do that?
I don't think those two
Yeah.
things are mutually exclusive. I don't
Honestly,
think.
honestly, I think the bigger conversation, could you sorry, I think the bigger conversation is how we express ourselves and still be accepting, of other people rather than actually thinking about this. You look at how you accept people online, like how you deal with people,
Uh-huh.
like expressing your feelings, but then you're also being respectful.
Yeah, yeah.
That is kind of where I was going to, right? People think, oh, I have a freedom of speech. I have to express myself. and they feel it's separate from being respectful. Yes, you should express yourself, but you should do it
Be,
respectfully.
yeah.
I mean, it's not like either or. It's not express yourself or be respectful. No, it is express yourself and be respectful. Be mindful.
Mhm.
Yes, you have your freedom to express yourself. I also have my freedom to express myself. And sometimes the expressions can land you in trouble, right? And
Mm,
so,
Yeah.
generally, I think it should be our watchword. Whatever
mhm,
idea, whatever you want to say, think about it carefully. And
Mhm.
after you found the words to say it,
mhm,
find a way to be respectful to your audience, not just the people you're interacting with, even the people
mm,
you're on the side. The other day, I had an instance where I engaged with someone, and at the end of the next day, I had to call the people who were present and sort of apologize because I realized,
mm,
and we should all realize that
mhm,
your audience, the people who listen to you, their ears are not garbage cans. You can't just go dump your trash in there. Please
mm.
be mindful. The people you're conversing with, the people you're having the conversation with, and the people listening to the conversation, they all deserve respect. You can't just express yourself anyhow. So
How
please,
about one-on-one?
even one-on-one,
I
people's
mean,
ears, that's just the baseline. People's ears are not dustbins. Don't put your trash in there. Like, it's not one or it's not either respectful or expressing yourself. It is
mhm.
expressing yourself respectfully.
Yeah, because I don't think we can have inclusive like space, right, without respect.
Mhm.
I personally, I don't think it can happen. We can't be inclusive because we trying to entertain everybody's view, and then you grab a microphone and start insulting people. Like, no, we might have to jump on you or jump you or whatever, so it's just or whatever we do, we might.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's just but if you just join us, please hit the like and subscribe button. If you haven't, welcome to the Casa Podcast, brought to you by the Casa Tribe. We are happy, we're excited, we're here today. We're talking about social media tolerance.
Hmm.
We've had a lot of views. We've dived a little deeper with Kojo and Ifia and folks, our great folks in the comments section, where Michael is telling me, I don't even know what he said. What? Why look? I see OSHA. Yeah. It's what I deal with. Whatever. I can't just come on here and talk with you. I take this medication.
No,
X,
no,
Y,
that
Z.
wasn't even what I
Yeah.
was even. It was a joke.
Yeah. And then he brings OSHA in there, but whatever. I
You
have
are
to
the
talk
one
to.
who said hip hop.
Yeah. I said HIPAA violation.
Yeah, you see, you have bad attitude as a multiple personality. Get out of here.
No, 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 no,
You just
no. I,
need.
I I do. It's Charlie. It's my It's the doctor said. Just like the way the lawyers ask me to tell everybody. And guys, if you're listening to us, the lawyers want me to tell you the views expressed today are
Oh
views of
my
the host and the guest.
god.
They do not represent the views of the CASA entity
I'm
as
dead
an
today.
entity.
Hmm.
Just wanted to slide that in there. But guys, let's talk about hate speech and harassment
Mm, mm,
because that's big, right?
mm.
That's
Yeah.
It
big.
is. It
Hate
is.
speech harassment. How do we deal with that? How do we deal with hate speech and harassment without, I don't know, whatever? How do we deal with that? Kojo, I'll start with you.
Hmm.
Let's
Yeah,
the thing is there. How do you deal with it?
personally, I mean, and,
Uh-huh.
and to be honest, I don't even
Yeah.
think it's an individual thing. It's an
Mhm,
individual level problem at this point. I
mhm.
don't think individuals can control hate speech, and this is why
Should be
I have
collective
my own
effort.
observation about the people who run these social media platforms.
Hmm.
I think we deserve better. The users deserve better. Like
Mm.
the guardians, the people who allow the create these platforms and allow people to be on there, who have all these
Hmm.
policies, should start enforcing it. At this point, I think as much as we talk about tolerance, I think hate speech and some of these incendiary
Hmm.
speeches should not exist in our social media because they have real world effects, right? For a long time, we never thought these things would have an effect. One tweet, someone shoots, what would it do? But now we see the effects in our day-to-day lives, right? Where people are like, someone tweets, go beat this person, and then people go do those things, right?
Oh.
And so
Mm.
given how powerful some of these influencers and public figures and politicians and even ordinary Joes, like some ordinary Joes amass massive following. And
Mm,
so when they go about spewing hate, putting all these horrible things out there, it works. It actually affects people's lives. And so with hate speech in particular, it's one of those things I feel we shouldn't tolerate. And
mhm.
it's the only
Right,
reason
yeah, 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 yeah.
I would snitch on Twitter. Like the only reason I report someone is when
Mhm,
someone's comments are so bad, so horrible that people go for religious groups, people go for certain vulnerable people in society, and
mhm,
I'm like, that's just awful. So with hate speech, I think we should all do better, but
mhm.
the moderators of these comments, the moderators of these platforms should do a lot better, especially Twitter these days is getting bad. Like the comments stay forever. Like some of these things should be taken down. I think that's my only thing about hate speech. Just take
So
it
that's
down.
how you deal with it. You report them.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I
If yeah,
snitch.
Yeah.
Like if
Kojo
you're
is a
a boy.
snitch.
Like if you're a
Kojo,
boy.
Kojo
Yeah,
is a
he's always been
snitch
a
on
snitch, but he made
social
people believe
media.
I snitch.
So how about you? How do you deal with hate speech and harassment? Do you
Yeah, same.
snitch to
I definitely
Elon?
snitch and block.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, blog.
Yeah, I would report the tweet.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes I don't follow the person, but yeah, you can actually block someone you don't even follow. So you just
Mm.
block
Mhm,
them.
mhm,
It's if you see it's not helpful. These things shouldn't be tolerated.
mhm,
I mean, in as
mhm,
much as we were like, oh, let's tolerate some things have effects, and sometimes that is what we miss.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not everything that can be tolerated. It's not everything that you have to say. And as much as we are, you know, preaching tolerance, people should also have sense
Mm-hmm.
and know you don't have to say everything and then expect people to tolerate. Some
mhm,
things it will be hard for us to deal with, especially when you talk about this harassment and hey, it's nobody can deal with that. But then you be like, oh, I didn't mean it this way. What did you mean?
We can't read your mind.
yeah.
No,
We
we
can
really
only
can.
take
It's
the
just
things that
it's
you
just
say.
yeah, you said, and that's where we can draw conclusions from, and then you be like, oh, I didn't take it this serious.
Mm-hmm.
But these things have real life effects, and it could affect somebody else.
Yeah, yeah,
Somebody could be
yeah,
dead because of what you tweeted.
yeah. Yep,
Something bad could happen,
Yep.
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
so some people will be like, we have to tolerate. Yeah, we tolerating things, but also would also have to preach that people be more respectful
Mm-hmm.
of the things they tweet or the things they say online because it has effect.
And
Yeah.
I think I was gonna ask, but could you kind of answer it? Because I was gonna ask you guys the role of the people that run the platform, that owns it, the stakeholders, the
Mhm,
gatekeepers. What are their roles in like in when it comes to hate speech? Also, what are their roles in tolerance and
mm,
combating in intolerance? Right? Because
Mm-hmm.
you can you can report somebody, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they just take that person's account. But the thing is, you reported it. How do we know you don't have some personal or you just made it up? How do we know that what you reported? Like we can't just say, okay, take this guy out and take that guy out and blah blah blah, right? Because then that would be
Mm-hmm.
a war of who deactivating accounts and all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if I point a finger at Kojo and they take him out, you point a finger at me, they take me out. Like we can't do that, right? So what role do you guys think it
mm,
should be?
mm. So I think again there are policies,
Mm-hmm,
and as much as people don't read these terms and conditions, and
mm-hmm,
again, if you haven't done that, please, there's an episode on that on this podcast. A couple of episodes ago, we're talking about internet security and all that. People saying accept, right? Just because you don't have
mm-hmm,
a Twitter account, there's a policy. My thing is, these regulators should enforce these policies. There are ways they go about it. It's not like, oh, I don't like if you're a West tweet. kick her off, and they kick her off. They have ways of adjudicating these things. They have people who look at these things, review these things. But what I am saying is, especially given the age and the age at which people are using social media and the
Mhm.
length of time a lot of people are immersed in social media for hours in a day. If
Mhm.
someone stays on social media platforms for 6 hours in a day, that's a quarter of their day. And so if they live to be 30 years, that's a quarter of those 30 years they spent on social media. And so there's a lot of time being spent on these forums. And the gatekeepers have to do well. I know in some countries, and even in the US, in some states, the very strict enforcement, the politicians are making the legislature is making very strict laws for these people. Like, you can't just, social media is like, in a way, it's like a loaded weapon. You just don't put it in anyone's hands and just say, hey, just point and shoot. No, people have to learn how to use it. And if they're not using it well, the rules are there. Just apply it. It's not like make new rules. If people come and are dehumanizing people, are like, some of I
It's
know
the
certain
no.
accounts that
Mhm.
everything they tweet from morning to evening is just to denigrate people, to insult people, to be offensive, to be as abrasive as possible. Sometimes they just say things like, I can see some of the tweets and I'm like, this is just completely needless. Like, needless. People doing their own thing, like, they just go out there and it looks like as though they're thriving on these things. They just want to be as horrible as, like, come on, take them out. Like, let's not do this thing. If we
Take
take
them off.
if we take all the bad people off social media and there's no social media, well, I guess there's no social media, because what we're not going to do is just encourage people to be crazy and just say horrible things. Like,
Mhm.
no, take them out, please.
Okay. If yeah, what do you think?
I mean, because
We should hold. Do you think we should hold Elon Musk responsible? Like, hey, Elon, take Kojo out of here now. Vermouth, go,
in
because he
a
said
way, right?
he didn't
Uh,
agree with my medications and my diagnosis. So let's kick him out.
I
Like, do
beg,
you think
I
we
am
should?
not a trained psychologist. I
We
beg.
should. We should agree.
Well, I think in a way we can say take someone out because I
Mhm,
disagree with the person. But
mhm,
when it comes to hate speech, harassment, and all those
mhm,
things, yes, if they
mm,
are failing to know their job, because they are being, this is why you manage things, right?
mhm,
Because it gets to a time people, I think it's natural. You just forget yourself. Some people, it's not natural, but some people, you just tend to forget yourself. And so sometimes people need to be managed. They need to
uh,
be, and they need to be told, some things
uh-huh,
need to happen for them to be told your place. So if it requires you to be off that platform, yeah,
uh-huh.
it will take you out of the platform to go and, you know, get your senses right back. And maybe you can,
Mm,
usually that's what they do. They come back with another account. Yeah. Hopefully, you know that when you say something this bad, you'll be taken off.
mhm.
So they come in a
Out of
better,
here,
yeah,
Vermouth.
you
You go.
come you come as a better person, right? Sometimes it works. And so yeah, definitely
Yeah.
we have to hold these people responsible to be able to manage these some of these issues, because we can't do
Mhm,
it by ourselves. We don't handle things. And even if we go there telling people, look, what you're saying has real life impact, is going to affect other people,
Mhm.
it
mhm,
doesn't change the person, right?
mm.
It doesn't
Yeah.
do it feels like you don't have as much power as the person running the account. So
Yeah.
obviously we have to hold them responsible. When
Okay.
we get to a point, that's how far we can go, is by commenting and direct quoting it and saying, yo, this is so wrong, you don't say this, you don't do this,
Mhm.
that's how far we can go. But then still the person can decide, I'm going to keep this on there, I'm not taking it off, I'm not deleting it. Then okay, it's time we hold Elon, come and take this dude out of here, we can't deal with this person. Yeah.
Okay. Let me
Why are you like this?
why are you like this? Rashid, let me I think we had Suleimani So Amanda said hate speech. I mean, when we're talking about the hate speech and online harassment are forms of cyberbullying. It should not be encouraged as much as we have divergent views. You shouldn't take your negativity to other sound minds. Okay.
Definitely.
Mm,
Definitely.
okay. Then Rashid Paraj said, now I make use of the unfollow, mute, block buttons with regards to any form of hate speech I see. Then I report them when I see they have not changed over a sustained period of
Mhm,
time.
mhm,
Okay.
Mm.
Let me see. The notion of Twitter, the internet is not real places. What's driving
mhm,
these act?
mhm.
Okay. Amanda is talking to Ifia. Ifia doesn't look cheerful to you. Ifia,
Really?
give us a smile. Give it to
Oh
them.
my
Give it to them.
god! Are
Give
you
it to her. Give
sure?
it to Amanda. but see, Kwajo's been coming for you
Oh
all
my
day, right?
god!
Quizzy,
Because
I was
then
just trying to provide some
right,
explanation.
right. And then how do you explain? You don't know how she's feeling. How do you know?
Oh, I know
What
she's
is
hungry.
oh
That is not true,
well
guys.
well
I've
today
eaten. I've
it's
eaten.
it's
I had
Sunday.
breakfast and I
It's
had
Sunday
smoothie.
fun day. So it's Sunday fun day. Get
Sunday
some
fun day,
food.
but Quizzy, there's
It's
something
Watch Sunday for me. So
very good for you.
I'm getting Watch
Oh,
after
you
the
have
show.
watched it? Oh my
Yeah,
god!
I made Watch actually. So
Focus, guys.
it's
Focus.
it's stay. Amanda is laughing. But
Oh
guys,
my god.
we are coming real close to the end of the show. But I still
Mm,
have questions. Right,
mm,
the
Okay.
younger generation.
mm.
Let's
Good.
talk about the younger generation because
Hmm.
let's talk about the younger generation.
I swear, Quizzy.
Can we can we
I don't know
can
if we
we
can talk about them.
no, can we teach them tolerance, or can we what can we teach them about social media? Are they tolerant?
t-
Can we teach
t-
them tolerance? What can we
Quincy, did
what do
someone
you
teach
think?
you
teach them
tolerance?
mini.
Did
I'm
someone
just
teach you
Teach
tolerance?
them mini.
hey
No,
hey
wait, Quizzy.
Sunny what try me Noko, like I'm just
Nah,
saying.
you'll find
I'm
it
asking
when
you
you're
guys. I'm
finished.
asking you, what do you think? Tell me.
Quizzy,
Tell me what
listen.
you think, right?
Quizzy, listen. I, as much as I would like to,
Uh-huh.
Efia and her younger
Her
generation,
groups, her group
these
of
people don't even know what buffering is. They
mm,
don't have patience to wait for a video to load. Like these people, listen, they
two
have their attention.
seconds.
They are TikTok generation.
Uh-huh.
Tolerance, no.
Mm,
I don't know, but
First
that's
of
kidding.
all,
mm,
But kidding
yeah.
aside, I think not just for me, it's not about teaching anybody tolerance. It's about protecting people. Because
Mm,
back when, listen, Twitter, when I discovered Twitter, I was in the uni, right?
mhm,
People have Twitter accounts now in high school, primary school. They
mm,
literally are growing up on this thing, right?
mhm,
And the harms, the ills, the problems that come with this, we're now finding out. We're now figuring these things out. Most of these things have not been around for way too long. So we don't know
mhm,
a lot of the long-term effect. If Twitter goes down right now, I just put my phone down. If Instagram is not working, we just move on. Sometimes
mhm,
we don't even know it doesn't work. But if Facebook or whatever it is, people who are so into these ecosystems use goes off for a week, I don't think a lot of people know what to do. Some
mm,
people have not put the phone down and spoken to one human being since, right?
mm,
They're always on some form of social media.
uh-huh.
And this is why the conversation about the moderators, the owners, the people who
Mhm,
run these things doing their job becomes very paramount. Like,
mm,
please do your job. A lot is riding on this. If you're your boy and her, her Gen Z generation, and these, the youngins, they need this. They need this. If your boy has never driven from one point to another using an actual map, she always goes on her
mm,
phone and she's using GPS.
mm,
When the GPS goes away, if your boy is lost, she's not moving. She can't do anything. Like I feel just based on how integral it's become in everything. I don't think when Kufuor was president of Ghana or when Bush was president of the US, he ever
mhm.
tweeted one thing. Now we wake up and we're like, what is Nanado tweeting? What did
Joe
Biden tweet?
Biden. Yeah.
It's like everything has become centered around social media. I'm
Mm,
not knocking social media. It's great. It's fine. I don't have to wait till Nanado comes in the evening at 7 p.m. to give his fellow Ghanaian speech. We can get some of these reactions real time. However, just because
Mhm.
of how integral it's been, tolerance is the least of our worries at this moment. Like, let's protect people. Let's get
Mhm.
the creeps out of the
Mm.
ecosystem. Let's make sure these things, some of these crimes are like punished, right? Like we talked
Mhm.
about kicking people off, and if I was like, oh, people come with other accounts, yes. But for me, when we take people off, when we deplatform people, it's
Mhm.
not for those people to learn. Some people are beyond learning; they won't learn. It's
Oh,
for their followers.
okay.
It's for the people who think it's fine. You know, like you see someone post something very horrible, some hate speech, and you go into the comments and you realize they have some support. They have what I call the minions, right? So the
Mhm.
minions will go in there and come at anybody who sort of tries to explain why that is wrong, right?
Yeah.
And for them, it's like they look up to these people. Like these people have worked to
A
get to
nation,
this
a
point.
nation of minions.
Exactly. So they're trying to get
Kofi
there.
Nation, Kwesi Nation.
And so when you take away that leader, the
Uh huh.
minions will be like, okay, and this might not be the right way to make a name for myself. This
Uh
might not
huh.
be the way to go. And
Uh
so
huh.
the followers will learn. I mean, there's a saying that you take off the platform, the leader, and then the followers would learn.
Cut the
And
head
so,
of this snake.
yep, and the rest will be rope, right? And so
Yeah.
I think we need to do better ourselves, and we. For me, most of the time when Efia comes at us, the old people, I feel sorry for her. I'm like, Efia, boy, you don't even know what a rotary phone is. You don't have one contact in your head. Like this social media generation, all their contacts are in their phone book. When their phone gets lost, they're done. They're done for. They don't know the 0244 238 in their head. They don't know any of those
Okay.
things. But yeah, there's
If
more
you
to life.
if you he came for you again, and before you go, guys, we are talking about social media tolerance. This is a Casa Tribe, and this is a Casa podcast. If you haven't subscribed or liked the episode yet, please do so. We're happy you're here. If this is your first time, we're excited you're here. Welcome to the Casa Tribe. And once again, the lawyers want them to say that the views expressed on this show today do not represent the views of the Casa entity, represent the views of Kojo, Efia, and Kwesi. So, Efia, I know Kojo came for you, but younger generation, can we teach them anything about social media tolerance? Yes or no? And why?
She doesn't want to learn.
We can't hear you.
Anyway, we
Efia, I
can't
think
hear you.
your mic
What
is
happened?
muted.
Hey, Efia is hungry. Her mic is hungry.
Can
Everything
you
is.
guys hear
Yeah, we
me?
can hear you.
We
We can
can
hear
hear
you.
you.
Okay.
We can hear you.
Anyway, I think you can help. All you can do is advise. But usually people learn from experience, like after everything has happened, even though it's a very bad way of living. Like sometimes
Mm-hmm.
there's people will not survive certain experiences. And so it's like, what is the point of making them go through it? But teaching is when the person is willing to learn or when
Mm-hmm.
they want to hear from other people. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't think younger generation wants to listen at this point.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your service. Oh,
We
I'm
Okay.
hear
kidding.
you. We watch
Proceed.
you people.
Proceed.
I'm
Please
kidding. I'm
proceed.
kidding. I'm kidding. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
so
doesn't want to hear
definitely you can
anything.
put in your 2 cents, of course.
Uh-huh.
Help with how we deal with people. And
Uh-huh.
I feel like tolerance also comes with experience. The more you've heard people, listened to people, been through certain things, that is where you understand the need to give room and to
Mhm.
extend grace. You
Mm.
know, usually when you're young, you've not had a lot of experience. And so you feel like the world revolves around you. Right.
Mhm.
And that's true because you don't
Mm.
have any experience. It's just what you've been through, your family, your phone, your
Mhm.
friends. And so you were like, this has to go my way. This has to go yeah, like that.
Mhm.
All
Mm.
about you.
Your way or
Right.
the highway, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
so I feel like after they've gone through a few experiences, like
Mhm.
certain things have happened, that is where we understand that okay, things don't happen because of A, so and so. Things are not black or white, they are gray areas, and
Mm.
you have to learn to accommodate people. It comes with age. And so sometimes even teaching them wouldn't help with anything.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
All right.
You see, so that is the younger generation's way of telling us keep your opinions to yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
Keep
you
proceed
it
guys
to
should keep
the
your opinions to yourself. Nobody needs it.
and proceed to exit A.
Proceed to exit. Hey, we don't want to hear you.
Okay, see, for me and the younger generation, and it's so funny that when we are having a conversation, if your boy stands here and waves the flag of the younger generation, but then she
Mhm.
gets into certain circles and she's a dinosaur just like us, I would be,
Ah,
the 17
She's
and 18-year
playing.
olds look ahead. She's like, keep your
She's
what to your what.
playing.
You're old.
She's playing both sides.
No, she's
Uh,
as old as we are in certain circles. The other
oh
day,
yeah,
I
of course, of
enjoyed it,
course, of
but
course.
for
uh,
me, and especially with the way social media is
mhm,
so integral in modern day conversation, it's almost
mhm,
not just it's part of the existence. Sometimes you don't
mhm,
even go on there to converse with anybody. People go on Instagram just to de-stress. Like
mm.
some people lose their minds. People will lose their marbles if they opened Instagram and there are no reels. Like it's become
Yeah, AKA me.
yep, it's become the fuel to almost everything.
Mhm,
As much as it can stress people out, it's also saving a lot of people's mental health. And so
mm,
I want a social media um system ecosystem where people can
mhm,
thrive and be better. We can all do more to uplift others, but come on, I still pin the blame right at the doorstep of these creators. Like it
mhm.
shouldn't be all about money. I know the money is great, sell advertisements and all that,
All
but
they see is
protect your
green.
users. Protect your users, because if you don't, there'll be no users for you to go and make money off of,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
so
yeah.
we have to, and we have to, as we also have to do some, we have to take some of the blame and be tolerant, but hate and nonsense
Mhm.
pass us by in
Okay,
the name of Efia Yeboah.
guys, we're gonna wrap up the show,
Mm,
and everybody's gonna get a chance to give us their last words. But before we go, I'm gonna read some comment
mm,
from listeners, people watching this, and from the lawyers too. And we come back, you will give your last words, and we'll wrap up the show. Okay. So from Rashid said, Kojo, when we started Twitter, we literally knew everyone on Ghana Twitter. We even addressed people by their Twitter names in public,
Public.
and they wouldn't respond. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
mhm,
So there was only like
mhm.
10, 15 of you. Okay.
You
If
knew
if
everyone. You knew
yeah,
everyone.
Rashid said, if I had to teach, if I had to teach them anything about social media, I would teach them accountability. Yes, sir. Accountability. Be accountable. Cannot come and insult this and expect us to tolerate your insults. No, we won't
Cannot
do
be
that.
ageist and expect
Can
us to tolerate you.
tolerate it? No, we will not do that. We will show you exit
I'm
A.
sorry, you
Okay.
guys would have to
You
tolerate
can
me when
it's
it
a
comes to me
you
being
can
a
choose your post, but you cannot choose the consequences of your post. Oh,
Mhm.
that's right. And Kojo, I don't know how he does that. He's still here, but he agrees with Rashid. And Rashid, last words coming up. Rashid, do you have any last words for us? Let us know. Make it quick because we're about to bounce. We're about to get out of here.
oh yeah.
If you're listening to us, so you just joined us, this has been a great show. It's been another episode of the Casa Podcast. We talked about social media tolerance. What I got from it is, if he has said we can't teach the younger generation anything,
Oh
if you
please.
if you have
Tracy,
advice,
please.
if you have advice for yourself, for whoever, if you have advice for the
keep
younger
keep it
generation,
to
keep it to
yourself.
yourself,
That is not what I
or
said.
keep it for your church or wherever you go to, and please show yourself the exit. Proceed to
Mm,
exit A according to
mhm,
fear. Okay.
mm,
Kojo thinks we can't just tolerate everybody. We should
Uh,
hold the stakeholders accountable. It's not just about money, money, money. Because if you focus heavily on the money, you might not have any followers that you're gonna run ads to, or you're gonna target
mhm,
them with ads.
mhm.
I agree with that. And me, my opinion, I don't have any. I'm just a host. I
Yeah,
don't
right.
have any opinions
Yeah,
on it.
right.
So we gonna, but before we go, the last thing the lawyers wanted me to say that the views expressed today are views of the guest and the host. They do not, emphasis on do not, they do not, they're not the views of the Casa tribe as an entity or the Casa
Mm,
podcast.
mm,
Rashid came in with the last words. I'm gonna read Rashid's last words. I'm gonna go with Ifia, your last words. But Ifia and Kojo, I want your last word. If you have anything, if you have any success stories about tolerance on social media, you can include that in your last word before when I come to you. Rashid said, take your social media as a stage with a mic, with the world watching you. Would you be willing to speak into the mic knowing you will be seen, and can you defend it? If no, do not post it. Some don't care. We do not care.
This
Some
is a
will tell
lot
you they
like
don't
what a
really.
30 plus man will say.
Yeah,
Please,
yeah.
we
Like
don't want
so, Rashid, from a fear as a fear's lawyer, proceed to exit A. If you do not care,
mm.
if you take us home, take us home. What do you last words? Take us home.
Oh
To you.
yeah. So I mean, when it comes to social
And please
media,
look lively. People said you are hungry.
You're
Come
hungry.
on.
You're hangry.
oh guys, that I've actually taken something this morning. I took smoothie, honestly.
Then be cheerful.
Okay. Okay.
So
Let's
we can tolerate you. I don't want to tolerate you.
We've
We
tolerated
can,
on the
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
entire
we gotta
show.
tolerate you. Yeah.
Anyway. So yeah. I think what my last words, right? Yeah. When you think about tolerating people on social media, think more about yourself and your
Mm-hmm.
sanity. Try to take yourself, allow people to hold their views. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think something is not good for you, just take yourself out of the situation. Do something, go out to touch the grass and then come back.
What about
You'll
us
be
that have
fine.
allergies?
You
Find
can find other
somebody to
ways to
talk
touch the
to.
grass.
Find somebody else to talk to.
It doesn't have to be
Mm.
literal. FBI
Yeah.
is
Okay.
speaking metaphorical.
Okay. Okay.
He
Grass
knows.
toucher.
He
grass,
knows. He just wants to
Grass,
he just
grass,
wants to
grass
grass,
toucher.
drag
grass
you.
cutter, grass
But
cutter.
Grass
yeah.
Kojo,
toucher. Yes, boss.
last
My
words. You
last
have any
words.
success story? Because if you didn't have, if
No,
your
I
success
beg.
story was, see yourself out, we
Oh, I
advise
have a
Rashid.
success story. I
Oh, okay.
do. I
Oh.
just remembered. I
Mm-hmm.
dealt with something that I was so proud of, right? So there
Mm-hmm.
was one time I was on a space and this rude ass person just walked in and did something.
Mm.
And funny enough, she's done that a couple of times, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so that day, I don't know why the person wants my trouble, but I just realized that you don't get my trouble because you want it. I would have to also want your trouble, and
Mm.
Okay.
then we'll
Okay.
get there.
Okay.
Ish.
Okay.
And
Ish.
so I was
Oh.
like, you
Ish.
know what? I'm not gonna
Yeah.
deal with this. And then
Okay.
I just proceeded to leave.
Uh-huh.
And a couple of people reached out. I was like, oh, I noticed this. This is not a big deal.
Sheesh.
I hope you didn't take it personal. I was like, I'm not even thinking about that. I have real life problems
Mm.
that I'm dealing with. And so
Oh.
honestly, after that moment, I didn't even think about it. So
Mm.
yeah, that was my success story of
Ish.
tolerating people.
Okay.
If
Okay.
your
We
once said
love
you don't want any of her
it.
4 foot 2 inches trouble.
You don't come for a fear like that.
Efia said you can't
Kojo,
handle. Media, I don't have any
Kojo,
success story. I
last
just
words. Give us your
my
last words. Take us
yeah,
home.
my last was tolerance. As much as and I want to speak to both sides of this tolerance point. Like
Mm-hmm.
as we go out there to engage people, right? We should
Mm-hmm.
try as much as possible. You don't have to agree with everything. You don't even have to understand everything. You just have to create room in the ecosystem for other ideas to survive, to exist. Like we have to learn to coexist. Like yes, your uncle would show up to dinner with very interesting ideas. Be comfortable with it. It's fine. If you want to engage, you engage. At the end of the day, let these ideas meet in the marketplace of ideas. Let them wrestle it out, and then the stronger ideas will prevail. And on the other side, the people who are being tolerated, please,
Mm-hmm.
again, people's ears are not dustbins or garbage cans or trash cans.
Can just dump them in there.
Don't just say things to people. You have to speak respectfully. You should have ideas, opinions. You should stand by them and you should express them, but express them respectfully. That's all I have to add, Quizzy.
Well, I appreciate that. That was kind and very, very what do you what's the word? 30 plus advice or whatever as if
Ages.
I would say
Yeah.
it's yeah. But guys, we've come to an end of another episode. I was your host. I'm still your host. My name is Chrissy. You called Mr. Frost. This is another episode of Casa Podcast brought to you by the Casa Tribe. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Kindly hit the subscribe and like button.
And sure.
Follow and share. Follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Casa Podcast. Follow the handles. I almost said Instagram. Sorry. Follow us
We're
on
on Instagram.
Spotify. Listen to us on. You can't. We don't stream on Instagram. We stream on YouTube. We don't stream on Instagram. Um, you can listen to us wherever you get your podcast, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get it. It's been great. We've talked about social media tolerance. If he has given us her views, Joe gave his views. I did mine a little. We had great comment from Rashid, Michael, Amanda, everybody, the whole Casa tribe. We're happy and glad you were able to make it today and listen to us. Same time next week, we'll be here with a with another topic. We're gonna dive deep and explore another topic. So we thank you for listening. May God bless you and yours. It's been another great episode. It's Sunday, fun day. I'm about to go grab some wache. Whatever you're eating, make sure you grab something nice for yourself. And before
From
we
the
go
tribe.
from the tribe, all we say is, guys,
Bye bye.
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 Adios.